Good morning. Good morning. Like David, at the Dallas Morning News, we're wrestling with a lot of these same questions. And, the first, okay, here we go. The big question that Rosenthal threw at us when I read it, I was kind of like, goodness gracious, can we survive and thrive? That's like that's a mouthful. And honestly, my answer was, I have no idea. But I tried to boil it down a little bit and think a little bit more clearly about what's the question that I'm wrestling with right now. And that is really about local. How do we use distributed platforms to help us enhance our chances of survival in this media ecosystem where there are so many different ways that we can get information to people and so much information that is flowing around. Like David, I actually have a mixed feelings about this. I think there are a lot of opportunities. I think distributed content gives us paths to audiences that we've never had before. But I also think it presents some real challenges and some real questions that we have to wrestle with and grapple with as we go forward. It's not a surprise to anyone that the economics of digital media really do reward scale. I think you've heard that now about 5 times. The Dallas Morning News is not the New York Times, and we're not BuzzFeed. We really do wrestle with this question of how do we get enough people to look at any given article to pay for the cost of producing that article. My feeling is that distributed content is one of those things that can help us, move more people, into our streams. Social sharing gives us the opportunity to reach people that we've never really been able to reach before, to get in front of audiences who maybe don't even know the Dallas Morning News as an organization that cares about the things that are important to them in their lives. So in Dallas, what are we doing? We are really taking an approach of testing and learning. Let's try things. Let's spend time looking at the results of those trials, and let's try to learn and adapt as we go. So right now, we are on a number of distributed platforms, and we are, not like the Washington Post all in. We are sort of taking a step-by-step approach. Apple News we got on last year. We put in a full text feed. We've really seen very low usage. We're actually going to be moving back to a partial text feed, so we'll only have pieces of our stories, and hopefully that will drive some referral traffic, but we're really not seeing enough audience to Apple News right now to see the long-term value, so it's not thus far been, I would say, a big success. Facebook videos, though, native videos, is something that we are starting to see some really interesting stuff, and I'm going to talk in a minute about that. But we are right now producing or publishing about 1 native Facebook video a day, not nearly all the videos that we're publishing, but at least one that we're putting out there to that very specific audience. And then also testing and learning with Facebook Live. Snapchat, we have an entertainment site that is really actively engaging a Snapchat audience. It's not a big audience, but we're telling stories that those folks, wouldn't necessarily know are being told. And we actually are seeing a lot of success with taking those snaps and then reverse publishing them in story form, for audiences on our site. So it's sort of a back and forth that's using both the platform to help us improve our storytelling. Instagram, like everybody, we have wonderful photos and videos that we are distributing, for multiple brands that we have. And we're in the process of testing feeds right now for Facebook Instant Articles. So we're not one of the big platforms that was invited in the initial, and no one's paying us anything to do this right now. But we do believe that there's a value in testing and learning on Instant Articles and seeing what we find. So we're going to start with just 10 articles a day, not the full feed. We publish more than 200 stories a day. We're going to start with 10, and we're really going to look at what's the value on a mobile page for those articles. And then AMP, we're also going to be moving into probably later this summer. To me, distributed content, really, one of the biggest values is that it helps to widen the pipeline of audience value. So we want to attract the biggest, broadest audience that we can, engage them, a smaller group, a smaller subset of that group more frequently, and convert an even smaller subset of that group. into paying consumers. We are launching a metered model in the next few weeks, and so we'll start getting subscriber value, much like the New York Times and the Boston Globe. And then, at the very bottom of that, an even smaller number, we really want to try to make sure that we are collecting data from and engaging in events and finding ways to create premium experiences for those folks. The bigger the pipeline, the more people you can get down into those higher premium levels. So I'm just going to tell a quick story about something that happened last week. Last week was Texas Rangers opening day. We had a team of reporters and editors and producers who were out at opening day, and we took a little video, and I'm just going to see if we can show it. Really quick video I'll show you. That's Elizabeth Sullivan. She's 105 years old, and she obviously got to throw out the first pitch at the Rangers game. We took that video very quickly. We posted it on our site, onto our YouTube channel. We put it into an article page, had it on our site, and we were off, right? A great little easy story. But at the, pretty soon after that, we decided, okay, well, let's take this video and let's put it on our Facebook Native Live channel, and I'll read the post that we put. Doctors told Elizabeth Sullivan years ago to slow down on drinking 3 Dr. Peppers a day. They died first, she said. And today, the lifelong Texas Rangers fan got to throw out the ceremonial first pitch at age 105. You'll notice that we tagged the Texas Rangers, we tagged Dr. Pepper, and we had a link back to the story that we did on that. Really quickly, something kind of magical happened. We started seeing a massive reactions to this story. 44,000 people reacted to it. We had more than close to 2,000 comments, 21,000 shares. It reached 4.7 million people, 1.7 million video views. You can see 23,000 people liked it. 11,000 people loved it, and 12 angry people, which I don't quite understand, the 12 angry people. So what does all this mean? Okay, we got all this great engagement, right? And on our site, by the way, the same story, the same video, did okay. It did all right. It was interesting. I will tell you that link back, which we initially did not put in there, and then somebody suddenly said, wait a minute, why don't we have a link in that thing? And we edited it to stick it in there. The link back drove back a fair amount of referral traffic. But something else happened that I thought was kind of remarkable. We had a massive spike in our Facebook organic page likes. So people who like Dr. Pepper or like the Texas Rangers suddenly said, hey, Dallas Morning News does video? Really? That's interesting. They're a newspaper. Let me like them and see what they've got going on. And so there was a real residual value to us for being out there on this platform, because now we'll be able to be in the streams of 2,000, 3,000 more people, and they now know that video is part of what we do. By the same token, that same day, we were out at the Rangers game, at the Ranger Stadium. Now, they will not let you at the Rangers go in and do Facebook Live inside the stadium, so we went out to where people were having parties out in the parking lot, and we did a 6-minute live video, just walking around talking to people. It took 6 minutes of our time, and we got about 17,000 people who were sitting at work going, why am I not there? And they wanted to engage and asking questions and reacting. Again, 6 minutes of our time with no scripted, nothing going on. We were able to really get an audience. So I use this as an illustration just to say that I think that there are a lot of challenges, and David outlined them pretty well, that come along with distributed content. I do really believe that the algorithms favor that scale. Getting Dallas Morning News content, even when we are breaking national news, into the streams of people is a challenge. It's a challenge. We are constantly being asked by our reporters and editors, get me an audience, get me an audience. And our audience development editor, who's here somewhere, has a quote that I now use all the time. She says, I'm not a wizard. And we're not. And I think that that's a real challenge. You know, the technical implementation things are very real. Each one of these things can come with its own challenges, and we don't always know what those trade-offs are, what are the things we're not getting to do in exchange for that. The opportunities, though, I think, are also pretty real. You know, we are expanding that pipeline. You know, we're able to target audiences that we might not normally reach. And, you know, and ultimately our brand is the best marketing. I mean, our content is the best marketing for our brand. And I think that's the thing that makes, you know, these tests, these experiments worthwhile. The biggest reason for me in the newsroom for wanting to continue to experiment with these platforms is that it's helping our staff improve their skills, improve their storytelling skills, improve their mobile skills. Knowing that that video about that little woman engaged that many people tells us something about how we should be telling stories. And I think that that's a really important, an important lesson for all of us. So thank you very much.